Looking at which one?
So looking at the Word document where it starts off about the Rocky Mountain Memorial Hospital, and it has all the different specs, kind of what they want, like cloud and things like this.
You're talking about the professor, what she put out there.
Is this document that's attached to the invite, is this the one that came from the professor or Christy?
If you wouldn't mind, I'm going to share my screen and go look together and see if we're all
Okay.
talking about the same thing, if that's okay. I am now recording as of just when you started to ask your question, David. So when I'm done, I've done this once before in a different class. So when I'm done, I should be able to save it and make it available for everybody. But so I'm going to share my screen. Tell me when you can see it. Let's see, screen share, desktop, share. There we go. So tell me when you can see my screen.
I can see it.
Okay, so
I'm going. Big hit on your screen.
Okay, so I'm gonna leave this. I'm gonna come over to groups. I just want to make sure we're looking at because I think a few people put some things out there, and I want to make sure we're talking about the same things.
I put a Word document out there.
Right. So the one you put out there. So let's see. The first thing was.
Yeah, Christina there, right there. Christina put two things out there.
Okay, so I saw those, and that's nice because it's got, it's a format we could use, right? And that's great. And then you put out the executive summary, which is also great. I've got that in my hand printed off. This is the one where, well, here, let me back up. And so, like I said, let's make sure that we're all talking about the same things. So 1 sec, let me close some things so I don't overlap. So what Christina put out there was, she had this. It's like a template. It's nothing. It doesn't have content for our assignment. It's just saying this is a nice looking template we could use here. And then for the presentation, she did the same thing. And yes, these are nice templates that we could take advantage of. And then Teresa, you put out the executive summary, which is.
Yeah, I took a stab at a couple of different places.
I was going to ask you, did you get this out of a document or did you actually type that out of the video?
No, that's what she put. That's what the professor put in her requirements. Okay,
because I saw that in the video, but I was always sort of looking for a document that the professor posted. I just wasn't sure if there was one.
The only way I found the group project itself, like all of the requirements, was that she put like a link out there. She in one of her notices, it would say group project link.
I have to go back and look again then, because I followed that link and I got to the video, I thought. But anyway, you've got the requirements right here. I spent like another half hour today poking around thinking, I'm sure it's in here somewhere.
So what I will say is that so my friend who took this class, she just gave me guidelines and she said, listen, she did 1.5 pages, single spaced for her executive summary. And then she told me kind of what they did for their presentation, and they got like a 98%.
Awesome.
So we don't need the fancy template for the executive summary. It literally just Word is fine. And I started, I showed her kind of what my path. She said, oh yeah, once you start knocking out all the requirements, get rid of all that in red that I put on my Word document. You're not going to need, once we start knocking it out, it'll just be market and then this and IT architecture and then something underneath it. Then I wrote something under the database architecture. I know that you said that you would like to do security. I would like to stick with database architecture. I believe, Benjamin, you said you wanted security.
Yes.
I took a stab at promotion of products and services. Right before we jumped on, I have about a paragraph. I think it needs more, but I haven't read the next chapter yet.
Well, before you go on, let me look at one more thing because I think I'm talking about one thing I think that maybe we haven't touched on. So Anita said, "Hey guys, check your email. I sent an attachment. Please read through it." I didn't actually get a chance to get to this and read through it till today. I wish I'd seen it sooner. So I'm wondering if you guys have seen this, and let me go find it here. She sent it back on Sunday. Anita, Word document. Have you seen this? Because this is not a template someone found. She did a lot of work on this.
What time did she send that? Okay, this is the one I looked at.
It's in our email, so it's not through the Canvas inbox. You have to actually go to your NKU 0365 inbox, and she sent it Sunday. But what she did was, so I can re-forward it to you if you don't have it, but let me open this up properly in Word and show you what she's got. Also, let me double check and make sure there's nobody in the lobby. Hold on. Nope, no one in the lobby, because I was hoping she would attend.
Oh, wait, Christina sent it?
No, Anita.
Oh, no, I don't have anything. Oh, wait, what?
So let me open it and put it next to your document and show you, because what I've been doing since I found this was I was putting the requirements that you had in yours next to this, and I think you'll see she may well have done a lot of work for us here. I'm sorry, I need to get back to where I can get both of them. Let's see, get back to yours, executive summary. Okay, now one sec here. So can you guys still see my screen okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got yours on the left, which has the nice listing of the requirements. And then I've got what Anita put out there, which I've read through this, and she's got a lot of great content. So she's, like you, she wanted to do the hospital. Mm-hmm. She put for enterprise architecture, she's talking about Microsoft. Now I can read it word for word. You guys will have a copy. But she did a really good job here for the first one, a short description of the products and services. I assume that still needs to be done, but then let's see. Oh,
good. IT architecture, because I didn't do that.
Yeah, so I'm trying to get the sequence here. So, well.
I tried to do the bullets below or the bold below to kind of respond.
I'll run through the one she has. I think she's really got great content on all the bullets. So she's got IT architecture here. And I'm assuming that she works in a hospital and has familiarity with this because she's calling out very specific
we
technologies.
use all too.
Yeah, I don't work in a hospital, but I read about it online since reading this, and it certainly seems like it fits. So we've got that. She talks quite a bit about lots of terms from the chapter like APIs and TPS systems. She's got data warehouse, talks about some LAN WAN technologies. She gets into how she scans medical, medications into the database. Database architecture. She's got some nice notes here, and down to into methods for searching the web, etc. Security plan. She's got great notes here. For myself, like I said, I've been involved with lots of HIPAA audits and lots of IT security, so I can expand on this section. And then she's got a little bit of a timeline. I think the majority of the bullets we're supposed to hit on. She's got some nice content in here. I'm pretty sure this meeting requires me to admit people, so I have to keep checking to make sure. I think it dings if somebody's waiting, but no, she's not. In any case, so now we've got that. So that's in all of our inboxes. I could resend it, but
yeah, I think that's great. I don't think we need any of the big pictures in there because I think we are supposed to only have I don't think it's supposed to be very long, but now I can't.
Oh, yeah, I mean, really, to me, this could all pictures and all, where you want them could be these are our slides. These are essentially the concepts for our slides.
I like the detail she's got in there, but it needs some executive summary kind of leading into it.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, I haven't spoken with her, but I was kind of blown away to see that she put this much detail out here. So I wish she were here to give us some context.
Yeah, I think it's really good, the slides.
I guess for you guys, I can jump into wherever section you want me to take. I actually work in a hospital system. I actually manage the IT security teams, network team, telecom team. So I'm very familiar with what she's got on the sheet. So I can definitely add to any section that you guys think would be appropriate.
Do all three of you work in hospital scenarios?
I work for UK.
I do.
Oh, okay. You do, and
Yeah,
Anita does.
Yeah, I actually managed to. This paper is actually down my alley because my group does all these things that are pretty much tied to this.
Perfect.
Excellent. Yeah, I'm an IT manager, and I once managed the IT department for a health insurance company, so I was involved with tons and tons of audits.
Yeah,
never a hospital.
If you're in Cincinnati, I used to manage the IT department for Mercy Health.
Awesome.
Like the telecom teams, and then I'm now in Georgia, so I manage the health system down here. I'm called Wellstar.
Really? Awesome.
Well, if we can split up then, because I would like the database architecture part because I'm in finance, so we use a lot of the cubes and different analytical tools, BI tools. So I would love to have the database architecture piece. I don't know anything about the security and IT architecture, but it sounds like you two really do.
Right. I can't speak for Anita, but between David and I, it sounds like anything infrastructure and architecture and security, we could definitely hit on that. Would you say, David?
Yes, sir.
Well, she had something good on timelines, right? Because I had nothing.
Well, yeah, toward the end here, because I guess that was one of the things we were supposed to hit on, establish and define a timeline for the new system development and launch in phase. And she just had some notes at the end, but
But really, I don't know, if we need a whole lot more than that. I mean,
Right.
It doesn't need to be huge because this is only like a page and a half or so.
Right.
But that,
yeah. So we have to get the executive summary by next Sunday, and then we have to have the entire presentation 2 weeks later. I'm just going to throw some ideas on there and see what you guys think. So presumably, we need to work on our individual, pieces. Like we need to pick a PowerPoint, template that we're going to use. I'll come back to the executive summary. I'm talking about the whole, the big presentation. If we pick a PowerPoint format that we're going to use, and then we would all take our topics and make our 2 to 3 slides or whatever you think you need to cover your topics, and then we would combine them and brush it up with the idea that in the end we have one PowerPoint that encompasses all of it and can keep us talking for somewhere between 20 and 30 minutes, and we all just take turns doing our section, and that we'd have to end up coming onto a call like this, getting ready and then clicking record and then just doing it.
Well, is that how we do it, or can we have like a Google Doc and then you could record your piece, save it, and then we can record our pieces and save it?
Well, she wants it to be, she wants it to be one cohesive thing where you click it one time and it plays everything.
But if we have one Google Doc that we're all updating, doesn't that do the same thing?
But we have to record our audio over it. So I'm just not familiar with, I understand Google Docs. I've used them for lots of things, but as far as multiple people getting to a single recorded presentation, I'm not saying it's not a good solution. I just don't know how.
Yeah, I've never done it. I just assumed it was possible, but
if we were all going to work on the document, yeah, we could put it on Google Docs and actively work on it at the same time. But ultimately, like when the document's finished, for us to get our audio where we all do our speaking, she says we have to submit like a single click, either PowerPoint or MP4 file, right. like a multimedia file, or she said any other format that you can send. But she said it should be one click. She shouldn't have to open multiple things. So however we get to the point where we have our final document, I'm assuming we need to do one single recording together.
Let me ask, this girl is on right now, and she's the one who just had this class. How did you record your voices for your PowerPoint? So she'll be able to tell me real quick since she just did this, I don't know, a few months ago.
Yeah.
It's almost, look at this though, my goodness, she almost did the whole document, didn't she?
She did it. She did a lot, yeah. And I can't speak for her, but the detail in there tells me she must actively work with these things. It's too specific.
She likely
Which is
works
great.
at physician office. All scripts
Yeah.
is more physician office EMR. So she
Yeah.
probably works for like a smaller physician office group.
I'm
But
gonna go
this
back
looks
to
really good.
the.
My suspicion is that they probably are using all scripts where she works at.
Yeah, she's obviously familiar with it. Here we go. This is what I was looking for. These are the requirements the professor put out there. I actually had highlighted that. So she said, presentation can be MP4 or a narrated PPT or any other format that's easy for you, but it has to be one click. So if we were to all record our things separately, we would have to have a way to splice them together, which I don't know how to do that.
She just said you can each record separately, but she's saying something else. Because I said, did you record separately or get on a conference call and record it? She said you each record separately. She's still typing.
Because this says, please don't record every slide separately.
Well, I think somehow if you're using the same document, I don't know. I'm like totally talking, I don't know.
Yeah.
And when she says slide, do you think she's just meaning it's not a slide?
I don't know.
but
I'm taking the only one click requirement literally. She says it'll drop points.
In PowerPoint, you just go PowerPoint, slideshow, and record from current slide. So then that automatically keeps all of the, like once you go to like presentation mode, she doesn't have to click again.
Okay, so then I just haven't done it that way. So I'll experiment with that and splice them together. PPT splice. So that, you know, if within PowerPoint, you can just talk your own slides, and in the end, we can just, if each slide can carry its own audio and they can be put together, that works for me.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure that we didn't miss this need to have a single executable thing where the teacher just clicks it and watches our whole deal, right? Cool. Well, that sounds pretty logical. I just haven't done PowerPoint that way, but now that you say it, it seems like it ought to do that. Anyway, sorry to get on a tangent. I know we're supposed to be talking about the executive summary. So for the executive,
I'm really curious if this was something she found online. I mean,
I don't know.
so
Well, the thing is, it's aligned perfectly with our bullets.
Yeah, if anything, I guess we can just kind of tweak this and tweak the sections and kind of make it a little bit more like where it says router points, router's access points. They're on the risk assessment.
I'm just gonna send her a message, see if by any chance she catches it and is able to come on. It'd be nice to have her. Just double checking.
This is really detailed.
Not there. I'll shoot her a message anyway. Let's see.
But for me, I'm really comfortable with every fluid except really, I would prefer not to do database architecture somewhere. You volunteer for that. And then same thing with consumer search engine banner ads, the promotion section. That's not really my strong suit.
I added a little bit onto the promotion today. It's not my strong suit, but I listened to part of chapter 6 and it talked about it some. So I tried I put a paragraph in there, but I think it needs more. That's not my strong suit either.
It would have been great if the other person was on, because really the areas that we do on a day-to-day basis, if it happens to map to any of these, it would make sense for us to kind of take those areas out, because those are ones we can speak to thoroughly.
Yep, I agree. Benjamin, can you send me that file? Because I don't know if I ever got
I'll forward it to you momentarily. I'm sending her a message through Office and through Canvas just to see if we happen to catch her. Just in case.
Are we a group of 4 or 5?
I think we're 5 because we're missing Anita and Christina tonight. I didn't ask Christina because she specifically said she couldn't make it. She's the one who was going to listen to the recording, but I assume Anita will too. So yes, I'll go ahead and send you her email so that you do have it. Let's see here.
It works out perfectly. There's 6 bullets.
What's your last name, Teresa?
Crone, C-R-O-N-E.
Search directory.
It's a T-H-E-R-E-S-A.
Oh, I don't know why I missed that. Sorry.
Come on, man.
I'm telling you, it's ridiculous. All right, that's on its way. So for the executive thing, I mean, thank you very much for starting the stuff you already did. You know, those of us on the call here, we're already volunteering for content that we like, but there are obviously some people who aren't on the call. Would it make sense for us to try and land on an approach and then put it out there for comment? Ooh, hey, maybe I just heard a ding. Somebody trying to get in?
Anita is.
Where's
I just
the?
submitted her.
Oh, you admitted her. Good.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Anita.
Hi.
Hey, you've got.
Sorry, I'm late. Sorry, I'm late.
Oh, no problems. You've got David and Teresa, and this is Ben. We've been talking about you.
Oh, hi, David. Hi, Teresa, right? Oh, Teresa.
Yeah.
Oh, hi. How are you guys doing?
Good, how are
Very
you?
good.
Oh, great.
So, Anita, we found the nice document that you sent. Has a lot of fantastic detail. We were just curious. Is that from your personal professional experience, or?
I have done this project before, as in when I was in my first degree. I had ideas about not the same thing, but similar to it. Not the same project. Yeah, not the same project, but it was similar to it. So I kind of went back and I realized that, oh, I've done this before, so I can give them some ideas, you know. So I tried and copied some and did my own research and combined it and sent it to you guys.
I see. Awesome. What class was that for?
I was taking business information.
I see. Yeah. Okay. Well, certainly you did a great job aligning it with our topics, so it definitely gets us off the ground. Thank you.
I can send you well, you know, it'd be nice if we had, I can like put this up there as like a Google Doc that we can share, because then you could see anything I update, and if we want to trash mine and just use other things, just so I don't want to keep emailing.
We can trash yours. It's just a discussion. So everybody is bringing their thoughts. So yeah.
Let me, under our group, under the logistics group 1B is collaborations, and it has Google Doc as an option.
Okay.
Really?
So let me see if I can put mine up there as just a Google Doc, just to see. Let's see.
Are you guys able to hear Anita very well? She sounds really faint.
Yeah, it was a little hazy.
Hey, Anita, are you on like a microphone or something?
Oh, you guys can see my face, eh? Oh.
No, I can barely hear you.
Oh, you can barely. Okay. Sorry.
See if you all get any sort of notification.
Heard something.
So I'm about to, and this is really just to put my latest effort, but I want to add some of Anita's stuff in here because I liked what she wrote. But I added some information on promotion. But tell me if you can actually see that.
Did you send it via the school email?
No, it's under our group. So in Canvas, there's a collaboration tool that starts a Google Doc. So I went out to that. And I started one. It's called Executive Summary Working File. If you go under collaboration, under
Hey, do me a favor, share your screen.
I am on 2 different computers.
I am still sharing my screen, and I'm able to get into her document. I can show you how.
Okay, you mind? Yeah, you mind?
Are you- Are you guys still? Do you still see my screen?
I do.
Because let me show you how I got there. So basically, when you go to this screen
Oh, okay, got you.
under Groups Collaboration, the
Oh, I
first
see.
time you go there, it may not actually show her document. It says that you need to basically log into Google. Basically, you need to you follow the prompt and just log into your personal Gmail account. I know y'all have one. Once you log into your Gmail account, and it has, basically, it needs a Google account to share with. But once you log into your Gmail account, then her link will become active and you can get to it. And there it is.
When I select groups, I don't see collaboration.
So you do.
When you go to the logistics,
Are you under the logistics group 1B?
Maybe that's the issue. Hang on.
Yeah, that's us as 1B.
Okay, I see it. Collaborations.
Yeah, and once you're on there, you have to like log in, and you're not logging into your NKU stuff. You have to log into Google, yeah, a Gmail account basically.
I don't have a Gmail account, so I'll create one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's easy. Just go out and sign up for one. And when you sign up for Google, you have access to be able to store files and share them and stuff like this. But you don't have, just having an account will allow you then to get in and see it. But yeah.
Sierra, get ready for bed. Like, take a shower.
So I guess with this year, I guess putting that on Google, what's still our strategy here? Are we updating sections still, or are we kind of just gonna take a stab and then we take the best and put it all together?
What I was going to suggest, I'm interested obviously in everybody's suggestions, is, Teresa's already started a nice format, but we were going to try and split up topics. This thing needs to be a page to a page and a half, single spaced, and I'm pretty sure the professor likes 10 fonts. So it's actually like, 1,000 to 1,500 words. It's not actually very small. So if we have all these topics, perhaps we could each take a topic and really try and write a paragraph or two. And then one of us could take all that content and try to put it together into the single document, maybe trim it where necessary and just get it down to a good size. What do you think of that? Versus everybody trying to write the whole thing and then taking the best parts.
I think that whoever is going to lead, like the group leader should.
Anita, I can't hear you.
You sound far away. Sorry.
Can you hear me still?
Yeah, it sounds far away.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to get an earplug. Hold on.
I think part of it too, though, is just keep in mind for executive summary, we really should have at the beginning some type of sort of like a thesis or something that explains the purpose, like a summary. I mean, it should be at least a paragraph in front of all that really kind of lets the audience or the reader know what we're basically what the purpose of it is.
Yeah, that first bullet says short description of the products and services that can be offered and all that. And I assume we would restate the stuff about the hospital and maybe just give a high level description of our intent and then get into all the detail. I assume the intro won't be too hard to tackle.
I don't think so.
Hey, what part of Georgia are you in now, David?
Oh, I'm in Atlanta.
Awesome. I was just at the Atlanta Aquarium with my kids 2 weeks ago.
Oh, it's real nice, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm originally from Savannah, so I drive down there at least once a year and usually pass through Atlanta.
Oh, yeah, they've got a lot of stuff about the aquarium. We got the Coca-Cola factory tour. It's nice. We've been here for about 3 years.
You like it?
So I do. I love it. Of course, I miss the folks at Mercy. I was at Mercy for 11 years. So you build a family, but I do love it here. The weather's much milder.
Yep.
So with this, so I was going to take database architecture. Benjamin, you were going to take security.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also have IT architecture, right? And so that was, you were already taking that, right?
Is that
Where's,
David?
David?
yeah, I'll take that one. I can take IT architecture.
And Benjamin, you can take me off your screen. Oh, now that was David. You're sharing the screen and my face is in my face right now.
Oh, I'm sorry. Here, I'll click away.
Thanks.
I can stop sharing. I just let me know.
And then, so we need Anita and I lost her name. Who's the
Christina.
Christina? Then they can pick any of the other two.
Well, can we? What are the other two? Sorry, I'm sure it's right here. So we have the intro, which we'll work together on. I'm sure.
What am I doing?
Anita, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. What am I doing?
We don't know yet.
Well,
Hey,
the phases, I think she did some really good things on system development timeline and launch, like phases. I think she already had some good stuff there.
So,
Right.
well, could you go through the so we've got database, IT security, IT architecture. What are the other main topics that we need to cover? We have timeline. What was the other?
security plan,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was security.
then promotion of products.
Promotion. That's right.
I already have a little bit on promotion on here if you scroll down a little, but it needs more.
Which one? Promotion?
So yeah, Benjamin, just scroll down a little bit.
Oh, sure. Sorry. Here we go.
So I put, I put one paragraph, but I even put it needs more because that was just a little bit I read from chapter 6 today. So I threw it into this executive summary.
So just to recap, I just want to make sure. So we've got, these aren't in the right order, but we've got database,
Yes.
IT security,
I think,
IT architecture, timeline, and promotion.
yeah.
Those 5 sections of our presentation and our executive summary, aside from the introduction, are there other main areas that we need to cover? I'm looking at the bullets.
I think they have other issues.
Oh, just kind of like any other topics that they had at the bottom. Yeah. So that's kind of optional. Anything else that we want to talk about?
Apart from the other issues?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so we already have, so I'll do database. Benjamin, you're doing security. David, you're doing IT architecture. Anita, what would you like to do?
Whatever you want me to do, I'll be glad to do it. Just tell me.
Well, Christina's not on the call. Maybe it would be, I mean, I don't have any personal preference, obviously, but maybe it would be good to put it out there. The other 2 topics are timeline and promotion, promoting it.
Teresa, what do you want me to do?
So you had some good information, I think, on timeline in what you emailed out. And actually, I want to look more at what you emailed out and maybe bring some of that into, because I think that's a really good document. And so I'd like to bring some of that into what I'd already written, I would like to just integrate some of that. So if you want to just focus on like the promotion and then well, you choose. Anita, do you want to do promotion or timeline? Or you want to do other stuff?
I think the timeline,
because that looks like a good timeline.
yeah, I think the timeline, do we need to elaborate it? Because with the timeline, I don't think that we have to elaborate it. So that would be something, I don't know, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I don't know how you talk for 5 minutes on timeline. It might be kind of hard, actually.
Yeah, because
I asked the girl that did it before, and she gave me some ideas of what they did. She said that they looked at, of course, the IT architecture. They looked at the data architecture. They looked at security, of course. They also looked at like network capabilities, which I think Anita already had something in here where they talked about, did she talk about like the local area network and Wi-Fi?
Yeah,
I'm
but I
apologize.
don't know if that's timeline.
No,
That's
no,
The
up.
network side. I
Something
apologize for the network side.
I think that what can help us is Teresa can give us, a minute of whatever that we are doing, and also she can assign everybody to what the person can do. Then at the end of the day, she will send it to everybody. This is what you'll be doing. This is what you'll be doing. I think that will work.
And if someone else wants to do this, they can. Benjamin, do you want to do this since you set up this call? Doesn't matter to me.
What was her suggestion? I can't hear.
So she was just saying, so I think three of us already know firmly kind of what we're doing. It's really like, what do the other two people, how are they going to add value to this? And I don't mind kind of looking at what I put together, looking at what Anita put together, maybe like smashing some of that together. But like Benjamin and David, you guys know what you're doing. There's like no question there. So you guys already know what you're doing and you already have the background to do it. I was kind of looking at what the girl I know, what she did. And there were a couple things that she added that I don't think we'd thought of. So if someone wants to pick up this, so like they did stuff on mobile technology, which I didn't really think about. So we talk about, the current, like the IT architecture, and then like what we can pull out of the databases and how secure everything has to be. But then it's also using mobile technology is what my friend said she also added in their packet. And they also do, local area network, the wide area network, Wi-Fi. So all of that's going to be kind of in between. Like you have to have security for all of that. But we also want to talk about it in detail.
I would recommend for those, let me take those, because that's exactly what I'm rolling out for our hospitals,
Okay.
and all that stuff. I'll probably be able to speak to that stronger than anybody, just because that's what I'm doing daily.
So then we would need, so what would you call that? Would you call that all IT architecture and cloud computing?
So she has it right now under architecture,
Yeah.
which is perfect. I can take that section or expand upon that. Because even with mobility, we're doing it today with mobile phones and being able to scan or get information from the phone as you're in the patient room. But
Okay.
I can speak to it better because I know what type of security and stuff is needed with it.
Nice.
Anita, can you do more on the promotion angle? Like, how do we promote to our patients and get more patient, activity, especially with the upcoming expansion?
Okay.
Does that sound like something that you'd be okay doing?
Um, yeah, I don't know. I think anything that you tell me, I'll just research and do it. So I'm fine.
Right.
Yeah,
Just
like
the one that says how to promote the products and services to customers. You've got a lot of nice notes in here on it already around using,
Yeah.
CRM
Since,
systems and things like
yeah.
that. So,
I think since I have these already, I'll just go ahead and pick some and just paste
right.
and.
So you asked before, Teresa, about, the person who, only one of us is supposed to turn this stuff in. Teresa, if you're comfortable, then, I nominate you, but.
How many pages are we doing?
It's like a page and a half. It doesn't have to be a book because it's an executive summary. Usually executive summaries aren't very long. I mean, they might be a couple of pages. So we're looking at like the 10,000 foot view, and our presentation will be current day, what we're going to do.
I mean, for this right now, each of us needs to do just, 2 to 3 detailed paragraphs, and then we've got to put that all together to get to just a page and a half. But it's a page and a half single spaced with small font. So, I mean, it really is like 2 to 3 paragraphs each, I think.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't mind. If everyone can use that Google Doc, I think that would be a lot easier.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
For me
then,
personally, I'll probably like write it on the side and then paste it in there. Otherwise, you guys won't like seeing me add and delete stuff constantly.
Vice versa.
So I'm doing promotion of products, right?
yes.
Okay.
So I already have one paragraph out there. Feel free to manipulate it any way you want. But even under my paragraph, I already knew it needed more meat to it. I just kind of threw some quick
Can
thoughts I
you
had.
can you go
Right.
up and let me see what is down? I'm looking at your screen right now.
Yeah, Benjamin, can you like make that larger? It's
Yep.
really small.
Sorry, I have a big widescreen monitor. Let me.
Okay.
Which one do you? Is this the document you want to see?
Yeah, promotion.
Here?
Can I see
Down here.
promotion?
Yep.
Under
Yeah.
okay. I'll see. Okay. I'll just do something and put it there.
So we'll do our 2 to 3 paragraphs each, and then once we get past the executive summary, we're all going to do probably 2 or 3 slides each on the same content or however many slides you need, and
Who's
we'll do
doing
audio on that.
Yep.
who is doing other issues?
Well, Christina, what should we have Christina do?
Well, I was wondering about that because we're trying to speak for her, and she's going to need to watch this and chime in. But on the one hand, we've got the promotion of products and services. We also have an introduction that needs to state our general intent, and then if there are any other issues, and then there's the timeline. But I mean, the timeline probably doesn't. I mean, the timeline could almost just be wrapped into a conclusion and be relatively short. It seems like more effort probably needs to go into the introduction than the timeline.
I believe the timeline shouldn't be like a paragraph, like more than a paragraph or maybe 2 paragraph. I think it should be something short.
Right, like in a PowerPoint slide, I would assume the timeline is just one slide that you talk through
Oh, yes,
relatively
yes,
briefly.
yes,
Right.
yes.
Actually, real quick, looking at, I put up Christina's discussion board where she introduced herself.
Yeah.
She's actually a sales manager for growth and retention. So she may want to take that one that has promotion to it, which is more
Okay.
aligns with
Yeah.
what she does.
She
Awesome.
That's a catch.
That's a good point. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
could you do the kind of the introduction, like just the overall intro to the executive summary?
Who?
You,
What do you want me to do?
the initial like introduction. So
Introduction.
yeah, we kind of just jumped into it. Like on the document I wrote, it was nothing fancy, so I just jumped into it. And it kind of needs like a introduction of overall Rocky Mountain. You might be able to use my market section plus something else.
Well, just kind of state, this is, just kind of list what it is that we're doing and at a high level what we're trying to accomplish, and then we'll get into the detail. In the end, this is just the executive summary. What the topic you take, though, these are also the slides you're going to do in our presentation. So, if you're doing that, then you'll be doing the early slides in the presentation as well.
Here, Anita, for future, because I know when we start doing the presentation, sound quality is going to be imperative. How are you joined in to this Teams meeting right now?
Anita.
Yeah. What? Sorry, I didn't hear you.
It's okay. David was asking how you're joined in right now because it's really hard to hear you, and we were just worried about when we record for the PowerPoint. That's a really good thing to bring up, David.
Oh, don't worry. I think you guys can hear me. Just that I think I have a very low voice. That's naturally my voice, but I think you can hear me when we record.
I heard you really good just then.
Yeah, right then was good. Well, in any case, when you do record, do a sample and play it back and make sure. I think there have been times when it's been very hard to hear you. But just keep that in mind. What we talked about, I think, before you came on, Anita, is that when we get to the part where we're doing the presentation, we will each record our own slides with audio, and then we will splice them together. I'm going to get into PowerPoint probably tomorrow and just make sure I see how to do that. And maybe I'll send out a little note on, okay, here's what I found and here's how you do it. But if we all make our own presentations with our own audio, then we can combine them into one presentation, and then we'll be in good shape.
Okay.
But I'll confirm the process to make that happen.
Okay.
Okay. Cool.
So I'm doing the introduction. Is that what you guys said?
Yes. The introduction, and ultimately, when we get to the part, I'm assuming we'll all talk again when we're getting closer to the presentation. One of us should probably do the timeline, which is a bit of a conclusion to the presentation.
I think
But
the timeline, anybody can, do the timeline.
Yeah, but maybe it might be good if you do the introduction and then the conclusion or something like that. But it doesn't really matter. Like you say, the timeline at the end is an easy thing. Cool. So I guess we'll post the recording out. We'll post the things that we've volunteered Christina for out there, a summary of what we've done, and ask for her input. Hopefully she's okay with it. But if not, if Christina's listening to this in the recording, if not, then Christina will adjust. No problem. We'll figure it out.
Now, let's talk about timing real quick. So when can everyone have their sections at least written up in maybe even like a first draft that everyone can review?
I am flexible. So if whatever time you guys want to do it, I'll just take time out and do it before that date.
Yeah. I'm interested in getting this executive summary out of the way as quickly as possible so I can actually think about the presentation, which to me is more work. So I would say, me personally, not valuing anybody else for this, but I would try and get my few paragraphs for the executive summary in by Sunday, because one, we all need to see it. And for instance, I may say something about security that once we see David's content, I realize I missed an entire topic because I didn't discuss mobile devices and he did. So there may be some things where we need to have some revisions, and then somebody's got to consolidate that into a cohesive document. So we can't make our deadline too close to the due date. I would assume that either this Sunday or very early next week.
You were
Sunday too.
Yeah, I was going to say Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I agree with you. Once you see David's write-up, that may trigger something with me. That may trigger something with you. I mean, it goes everywhere.
And then keep in mind from mine, I'm going to include the security that goes with it, and then you can modify it. So if it's mobile devices, I'm going to have a mobile device management solution in it.
Right.
So that way,
well, I'm going to talk about regulations and security from that standpoint, but I'll also talk about security for VPNs and remote connectivity and passwords and stuff like that. I'm not sure where I'll go with it, but I've got lots of security topics, and then if we overlap, then we'll fix it.
And then for PCI, just FYI, I don't know how experienced you are with PCI, but just FYI, most healthcare systems are using encrypted readers, so you don't have to do any segmentation with PCI. So.
Okay. Well, for that, I might mention PCI at a high level for the credit card industry and requirements, but as far as how it's implemented specifically with the technology in a hospital, I've never worked in a hospital. So I would probably touch on it at a high level to say, we are implementing, our technology with this regulation in mind, and talk more about the regulation than the implementation.
Yeah, and maybe the key for is just mention segmentation. That's all.
Segmentation.
It's required for any PCI.
Okay, I'll put a note down.
And we'll just keep the executive summary high level and then go into detail in the point.
Right. It's actually like she said, and I think it was for Oh yeah. Now the font requirements. The only time I've seen font requirements out there that I noticed was for the critical thinking essays that you have the option of doing instead of the quiz. And she said she wanted Times Roman 10 font, single space. That is small and a lot of words. But 10 font, 10's pretty tiny. But I'm assuming if she said it there, then I'm assuming that's what we should use. But it's kind of weird. I've never had anybody that wanted 10 font before.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, maybe that's how they do it in Europe. We've been lucky over here. I don't know.
Well, and that's what
That's
my
good.
friend made her, she told me that they wrote a page and a half and it was 10 fonts.
Yep.
And she hit all the big things and they got a high A on this project.
Good. Well, let's do it that way then. 10 font times New Roman. But that, honestly, it's good because it's hard to fit things in one page if you actually have something to say. So now we've got room.
Well, especially if we're putting in front of each of these sections, if we're doing a brief summary in front of these, or I guess you know what I'm talking about, we're leading a brief intro in front of every one of these. It's going to
I don't know that. I think the intro for the executive summary itself should be considered, the introduction for the entire executive summary. I wouldn't feel the need to like have a thesis statement for every little section unless you need it to eat the space. But anyway, I'm just saying I don't think that each of these needs to be treated as their own little paper. If you follow me.
Yep. So I think if I'm following, then we'll just stay with the bullet format. Then is what you're saying? Really?
Oh no, it needs to be not bullet format. This needs to be written out in paragraph form for sure.
Yeah, think of it as like what an executive really wants to, what message the executive wants to deliver at the 10,000 foot view. So they wouldn't use bullets, they would use simple paragraphs. And I agree, I don't think an intro needs to be done before each section, just at the overall level.
Unless you need it for context or something. But I think we all know, when we're all trying to say our own message, we'll just do what seems to fit naturally. In the end, everything we all submit is going to be chopped up a little bit to turn it into one paper.
Yep.
Like I've done this sort of combined paper thing with other classes and been the chopping guy. And I would take pieces of what you wrote and pieces of what she wrote and move it up to the intro and back and forth. And that's just how it works. So it'll all come together.
So I'll just focus on content, and then we can parse it together and make it more contiguous when we meet.
Yeah.
So where did you see the 10 font? I'm looking at the requirements.
It's not the requirements for this. You know how in each module there's a like the critical thinking thing. That thing had a font requirement.
Okay.
And I think it might have been in the syllabus or it might have been on each of the assignments. But I was surprised and I actually went and started writing something and thought, I'm not doing that. So I'm sticking with the quizzes.
Oh, I'm totally sticking with the quizzes.
All right,
Heck
guys.
yeah.
I need to go and pick my son soon. So
Okay.
yeah.
We will post this recording and a summary out there. Let's all try and get our, content, some version of our content by Sunday.
Yeah.
All right.
And we'll go from there.
Okay.
Do we want to set a time to regroup?
Maybe we should ask via message when everyone could meet again. The only night I can't meet is Monday night. That's it.
Yeah, as everybody's off work Monday, who knows what they've got going on, but I'll make it work. No, the people aren't. You know what? I looked up at my calendar and it's like Labor Day in Australia. Never mind. I was like, oh, everybody's off. I saw Labor Day. I was like, oh, sweet vacation. What was I thinking?
It's March 4th right now.
I don't know what universe I'm in.
Whatever works good for the group, I'll just go with the group.
Yeah, I can meet during the day sometimes. I can meet at night. Now, not every day, but yeah, I'm flexible.
Okay, let me rephrase my comment. I can't meet during business hours, but anytime after business hours is good for me, or a weekend.
Yeah. Mostly me too.
Yeah. So
hey, one other thing before we stop recording.
You guys still there?
Yeah. Hello.
Okay. Yeah, like we.
I'm sorry if I talked over somebody. It seems like sometimes I have one-way audio or something, but just one more thing before we stop recording, because we touched on it. One person does need to be the person who will submit. Doesn't mean that they necessarily have to do more work or anything, but Teresa, are you okay with being that person? If you're not, it's fine.
I really don't care. That's fine.
Okay, well, in any case, like for instance, just because you're that person, if you don't want to be the person who consolidates it into a single document, I'd be happy to volunteer for that. Just let me know.
Okay.
Cool. All right. Well, I'll post this. And when I'm done, it usually takes, especially the longer the meeting, the longer it takes the system to compile the recordings and then be able to post it. But I'll get it posted out there via some sort of a link I might put on YouTube or something. But you'll see this meeting, and Christina, if you wouldn't mind to put the summary of what we've assigned and the question we have for Christina and whatnot out there.
You said Christina twice. Were you talking to me?
Dang it. I'm sorry. Teresa, if you wouldn't mind to post the assignments as we currently understand them, what we've assigned Christina, and ask for her feedback, just kind of like a little summary, and I'll get the recording out there as soon as I can.
I will do that right now.
Awesome. I'm sorry I mixed up your name.
That's okay. All right.
All right. Well, thanks, everybody.
All right. Thank you.
All right. I'm going to stop recording now. See you later.
All right. Bye.
Bye.